Welcome, my children, to the conclusion of Sustaining Mediocrity, Detroit Become Human. Today, we talk about my main man, Connor. Connor, to me, is the most interesting character in Detroit Become Human. I mean, who doesn't want to be a super efficient detective, a critical thinking machine, the sleuth who's going to get to the bottom of this? He is a, I think he's a model R800 prototype detective assistant android. He is partnered with Detective Hank uh, Williams, I believe. Played by Clancy Brown, doesn't matter. But basically, as I told you, he's going to figure out what deviancy is, what causes it, and how to eliminate it, basically. That's the purpose of his existence. That's what he's here for. I feel like as a deviant, or as a prototype rather, he should be immune to deviancy. And I know that it's like, oh, the whole point is that it's a choice game. He should be able to choose whether or not he is a deviant. The thing is, Marcus and Kara can become deviant on a whim. It's the beginning of their stories. Connor is spending the entire game learning what it is to be deviant. And he should be reinforced with some sort of firewall or something like that prevents him from feeding into it. Because honestly, there's a few moments, like with the Tracys and with the one android at Kamsky's house, that kind of enforce his decisions to become deviant. But if the thing that is important is if you are presenting an intellectual debate, like should robots be considered people, you need a representative of both sides of that argument. One of the problems with choice games is too much choice. There are too many options in certain games, and I know you have to pick a very specific string of options for Connor to be able to become deviant, but that should be eliminated. Connor should be a machine no matter what. Because I think it's important that that Marcus, one of the other protagonists, be up against someone of his own kind. Like, what I want benefits you too, you should be on my side. And Connor's like, I'm sorry, I don't care what benefits me, I don't want anything. I am simply fulfilling the purpose for which I was built. That's all it takes for Connor to be a better character. Maybe he's not more layered or more complex, but he does serve the purpose for which he exists far better. Another thing about Connor is every time he investigates a new deviant scene, like he sees the letter number combination RA9, right? He questions some deviants about it. He doesn't learn too much other than that it's something that they like worship. It's some sort of god to them. The thing about RA9 though is that it never comes up again. Why is this important? Well, believe it or not, every time Connor makes a somewhat human decision, he has like a software destabilizing thing, or software instability marker that shows up next to him, and it has a random number letter combination. I thought that if he became deviant, it would say RA9, and that's the code in the brains of all deviant androids. No, it doesn't happen. They drop the whole RA9 angle in its entirety, and it's troublesome. Now, one thing that I can't really justify is why is this detective android so efficient at killing and fighting? That's just how it works, I suppose. But another thing is he reports to a woman named Amanda, who I guess was like the mother of Cyberlife, however long ago. She's been dead for a while, but his consciousness is like uploading information to her, and that's represented by him blinking erratically. But it's shown to us as him like sitting in like a pond talking to her or whatever. And the environment that they're talking in represents his mental state, I guess. Like towards the beginning of the game, it's sunny. In the middle of the game, when he starts being conflicted, it's rainy, and at the end of the game, when he's desperate and he's trying to work with Marcus, if he is working with Marcus, it'll be snowy. And if Connor gets shut down by Cyberlife, then again it's snowy, and he freezes to death basically. I like that. I like that a lot, but it ultimately doesn't lead to anything. He never realizes that it's not real, or he never questions why he's uploading this information or whatever. And I know that I just said he shouldn't be deviant, but the confliction should still be there. Like, he should struggle with deviancy and roboticism as he learns more about what deviancy is. But ultimately, he should still be married to his own, you know, purpose. Mostly because he hasn't been mistreated by humans, not really. He hasn't known the cruelty that mankind is capable of. He hasn't been off the shelf for more than like 2 days, you know? And another thing, the game tries very hard to explain to you that there are consequences for your actions that are lasting. There are effects for all your causes. All of the weight and stakes and impact gets taken out of that when Connor can die, I believe, 9 different times and still come back. You can kill him for the fun of it. You can just kill him multiple times. And it tells you that every time his consciousness is uploaded to a new model, some of the information is lost. No, it's not. You're still able to do all the same things because the game was written in a way that the same Connor is going through the entire story. It doesn't matter what you do with Connor. There are no lasting effects unless you want to become deviant. But again, that shouldn't be an option for a character that is supposed to be representing the other side of the conversation. Androids were meant to be subservient. They should remain subservient. And that's why his feud against Marcus is such an important thing that a lot of people didn't end up getting because they played the game the way that it was meant to be played. But the way that it should have been written, Connor and Marcus should have been against one another, and they can be, and I find it very interesting. Connor could kill Marcus, Marcus could kill Connor. I like for Marcus to die and North to carry on, but sometimes you can kill Marcus and you can kill North. You can also kill Hank, you can kill a bunch of cops. But, I mean, if you screw up, it's very possible for Connor's story to get cut short, because once you stay a machine, that's when things get bad for you. But at the same time, your partner Hank, who has been helping you crack what deviancy is, tries to kill you for it. You know, it's like, well, you can't kill the leader of the androids. You're an android too. It's just because you aren't deviant, then obviously you can't be left alive. You see how silly that kind of is? But most times that I've seen, at least, if you end up in a situation where Connor kills North, the dirty bomb also goes off and wipes out Detroit. So it's like, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And another thing that I find stupid about, Connor's story is, remember, he's a prototype. This proves that David didn't really have everything figured out before they started shooting the game, because if you go with a route where all the protagonists die, Kara gets hit by a bus in the street, Marcus gets shot by a cop, what will happen with Connor is, because he wasn't put in a life-threatening situation or whatever, and didn't get killed that way, he will be sent back to Cyberlife and permanently deactivated and replaced with the R900 Connor model. Connor's a prototype. Why is it possible for him to be shut down and replaced before he's released? If the iPhone 13 is about to come out, Apple isn't going to scrap production on it and put the 14 out instead. That doesn't make any sense. You would lose all the money that went into research and development on this current device that you mean to roll out in favor of this other one that doesn't have any of the, the crowd response or the battle testing or anything like that. It's just very lazy, and it goes to show you that it's just like the destination is always more important than the journey in these games. And it's a huge problem because, as I've said previously, choice games have an issue when it comes to how much choice you should have. You either have too little or entirely too much. Nobody wants to play Detroit Become Human 80 times to get every possible ending for each character. Nobody wants to play Beyond Two Souls or whatever that many times to get everything that could possibly happen. And on the other hand, Batman the Telltale series and Game of Thrones and The Walking Dead don't have enough choice. Everything feels very on rails and fast-tracked, like you're supposed to do things in a certain way. And Detroit Become Human honestly feels the same way. The game was made based on the assumption that you're a good person and that you want the best for this people, this group of oppressed minorities. You want them to succeed the same way that you want yourself to succeed in real life. So that's how they built the story. They wanted you to want the best for everyone. So that's why they put all the effort into the best ending. There's a little bit more effort in certain different branches that the characters could take based on mistakes. They don't expect you to go at a negative ending. They don't want you to keep Connor a machine. They don't want you to let Alice die early in the game. They don't want you to make Marcus a cold-blooded killer. But these are things that could very well happen if you're just curious about how the story could go, or maybe if you're viewing it as a writer or as a reviewer or a journalist, maybe you wonder how things could go this certain way. Then you go for that thing and the story feels hollow and empty because David didn't want you to do that, but he put it in the game anyway, just so that you'd feel like he thought of people like you, when in reality, he didn't. The people at Telltale don't. Nobody that makes these choice games really thinks about the consequences of the things that you do in the game, even though they say that they're there. And they are in some places, but Connor, Marcus, and Kara are proof that's just not true enough to be concerned about. And Connor is honestly the most frustrating character in the game because he's the one that had the most potential just based on his premise, his reason for existing, the purpose for which he was built. But, I don't know. That's just me ranting about Detroit Become Human a year after it came out. So, if you enjoyed this video, let me know. If you enjoyed the series, let me know. Because I do want to get back to doing more Sustaining Mediocrities. I actually kind of want to do one on a movie next, but I'll do Red Dead Redemption 2 next. And then a movie. I won't tell you which one, just a movie. See you soon.
Coming at me wrong is bad juju. You better not make me sue woo you. So you best better go run tell your crew do something new, and it better be hot butter getting and dogo. Don't make me fight ya.